This time, tatry nating mag-solve ng iba't ibang klase ng equations na pwede naman palang matransform into quadratic form. Huwag na natin patagalin to, tara simulan na natin.
I have you.
Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel, at kung bago ka sa channel na to, please do subscribe, leave a comment below, and please share it to your friends and classmates, lalo na sa mga grade 9 na gustong makisabay sa ating math tutorials. At ngayong araw, ang pag-aaralan naman natin ay solving equations transformable to quadratic equations. Sa pagsasolve ng mga equations transformable into quadratic form, iba't ibang itsura ng transformable equation, iba-iba yung magiging treatment natin sa kanila. So kung tatanungin nyo kung which is which, wala tayong magiging uniform way kung paano mag-solve ng mga ganitong uri ng equation. But rather, we need to be familiarized with the different kinds para alam natin yung magiging manipulation natin at derivation doon sa ating equation. Let us consider example number 1. We have 3x plus 5 equals 2 over x. With this example, meron tayong denominator na x. Given that, dapat alam na natin na kailangan muna natin siyang gawing whole number before we proceed to solving. Then the first step should be multiplying both sides by the LCD. Now, we have 3x plus 5 equals to 2 over x times x. Given this, our first move will be multiplying our x to every term in the equation. 3x times x is 3x squared plus 5 times x is 5x equals 2 over x times x is 2. After removing the parentheses and simplifying the expression, we should write it in its standard form. We will have 3x squared plus 5x minus 2 equals 0. Factoring the trinomial, we should be getting 3x minus 1 times x plus 2. Upon getting the factors, we should equate them to 0 to further solve for the roots. 3x minus 1 equals 0 will become x equals 1/3, and x plus 2 equals 0 will result to x equals negative 2 upon solving for the value of x. Therefore, we can say that the roots for this example will be 1/3 and negative 2. Now, for our second example, let's try to consider 4 over x plus 4 over x plus 6 equals 1. Ano daw yung sabi kanina? Paano natin siya masosolve? First step is to multiply them by the LCD. Ang LCD natin, tatandaan nyo, ay yung mga numbers na makikita lang ninyo sa denominator. In our case, we have two denominators here. So, we need to multiply both sides of the equation by x and x plus 6, the product of the denominators. Now, the next step is to multiply the LCD to every term that we have in the equation. X times x plus 6 divided by x, makakancel si x, then we will have 4 times x plus 6 plus, so next naman, si 4 over x plus 6 ay i-multiply kay LCD na x times x plus 6. Ang mangyayari dyan, LCD divided by the denominator, x times x plus 6 divided by x plus 6, makakancel si x plus 6, you have 4 times x. Kung mapapansin ninyo, nagkapalit lang po ng multiplier yung mga denominators nila. That is because the shortcut method po sa LCD natin, pwede yung cross multiplication. Is equal to, since whole number yung 1, wala na siyang ipagdi-divide, so you just multiply 1 times x plus 6. So that is x times x plus 6. The next thing we need to do is to multiply yung mga factors para masimplify pa natin further yung equation. So, 4 times x, 4x upon distribution to. Then, plus 4 times 6, we have 24, plus 4 times x, 4x is equal to, distribution ulit, x times x squared, plus x times 6, 6x. Next step that we need to do is to combine like terms. Combining like terms is like adding x squared to every x squared terms, adding x terms to all the other x terms, and constant adding to every constant na meron ka. We need to put all the terms to the left side and equate it to 0 by adding the additive inverse of the terms which are found on the right. Then it will become 4x plus 24 plus 4x is equal to x squared plus 6x. Ibabawas daw natin sa equation yung mga nakikita natin sa right side. So, minus x squared minus 6x. Dapat ganun din. Kung ano yung binawas dito, mababawas din sa left side. Next step, dapat ma-cancel out na to. X squared, negative x squared. 6x, negative 6x. So, equate mo na siya kay 0. Then, combining like terms, si x squared muna. Diretso arranged na rin siya. Then, lahat ng x. 4x plus 4x minus 6x. So, this is 8 minus 6. So, plus 2x. Bakit plus 2x? Kasi po, mas mataas si 8 kesa kay negative 6. And lastly, the constant. We only have plus 24. The next step that we need to do is to negate the negative sign on our leading term. Kasi hindi tayo pwede magkaroon ng leading term na negative. And with that method, mas mabilis tayong makakapag-factoring kapag walang sign or walang numerical coefficient other than 1 ang ating first term. So, i-times lang natin both sides by negative 1 para ma-negate po yung sign. So, this will become x squared minus 2x minus 24 is equal to 0. At ang next step po ay factoring. And we should know by now na kapag magpa-factor tayo, ang lagi natin kino-consider ay yung mga factors ng last term na magbibigay sa inyo ng sum equal to the middle term. So, ano daw ang factors ng negative 24 na kapag pinag-add naman natin ay magiging negative 2 ang sagot. Hindi ba negative 6 at positive 4? So, yun po yung magiging values ng mga constant natin sa ating factors. So, sabi natin kanina, negative 6 and positive 4. Ang susunod daw natin na step dito ay by equating the factors to 0. So, continue natin yung solution natin. So, meron tayong dalawang factors, x minus 6 and x plus 4. Meron tayong x minus 6 equals 0 by adding the additive inverse of negative 6 to both sides of the equation. X minus 6 plus 6 equals 0 plus 6. Cancel. X is equal to 6. Next, we have another factor, x plus 4. Then, x plus 4 equals 0 by adding the additive inverse of positive 4 to both sides of the equation. We will have x plus 4 minus 4 equals 0 minus 4. Canceling this out, we will have x equals negative 4. So, the roots for our transformable equation should be 6 and negative 4. For our second example, we have 3x times 4x plus 5 equals 7 times 4x plus 5. If we are going to observe the given, there are no fractions. Therefore, we can already proceed to putting all the terms to the left side. We will just add the additive inverse of 7 times 4x plus 5 to both sides of the equation. And we will be having 3x times 4x plus 5 minus 7 times 4x plus 5 equals 0. After equating it to 0, we can observe that there is a common factor between the two terms. Then we can proceed to factoring by grouping. Recalling your concept for grade 8 math, we can just have 4x plus 5 as the common factor. Then, we will have 3x minus 7 as the other factor. equals 0. Equating both factors to 0, we will come up with 4x plus 5 equals 0 and 3x minus 7 equals 0. Solving for the value of x, we will end up with 4x is equal to negative 5 and it will become x equals negative 5 over 4. And the other one, 3x equals 7. And finally, we will end up with x equals 7 over 3. Therefore, the values of our zeros or our roots will be negative 5 over 4 and 7 over 3. Note that this example can also be solved by expanding both sides. We cannot cancel the factor 4x plus 5 from both sides of the given equation. Now, let's try to examine another example similar to the previous one. We have here 7 times x squared minus 9 is equal to x times x minus 3. Since wala na siyang fraction, we need to distribute na lang yung common monomial factors na nakikita natin, which is yung 7 and yung x. So, this will become 7 times x squared is 7x squared minus 7 times negative 9, which is negative 63, is equal to x times x squared minus 3 or negative 3 times x, we have negative 3x. Then, we need to add the additive inverse of the terms on the right side to further cancel it out and equate them to 0. So, it will become 7x squared minus 63 equals x squared minus 3x, and the additive inverse of x squared is negative x squared, and the additive inverse of negative 3x is plus 3x. Then what we add on the right side should also be added to the left side. So we have negative x squared plus 3x. This will become 0. And we have 7x squared minus x squared. We have 6x squared plus 3x. Then we have negative 63. Is there a common factor? Yes, we have 3. So after dividing it by 3, we will have 6 divided by 3, 2x squared plus x minus, we have 21 equals 0. So now let us try to check the factors for negative 21. Din daw sa apat na to ang magre-result sa sagot na 1 kapag pinag-add natin yung mga factors na ito at yung isa dapat ay naka-multiply sa 2. So, try nating i-multiply lahat ng nasa unahan sa 2. So, let's check. 1 times 2, 2 plus negative 21, edi diba negative 19 na siya. Negative 1 times 2 plus 21, diba po 19 na yan. Then, 3 times 2, 6 plus negative 7, negative 1. And 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 plus 7 is 1. Alin sa kanila yung nag-end up sa 1? Yung last factor natin, which is negative 3 and 7. So, ibig sabihin, dapat positive yung 7 at negative yung 3. At ang mamumultiply dapat sa 2 ay yung negative 3. So, kung i-recall natin yung FOIL, dapat ang magiging kapartner ni x ay yung negative 3 para mamultiply siya sa 2 at yung 7 ang magiging partner ni 2x. Okay? Then, equating both sides to 0. Ito na yung last step natin kanina. Continue natin. Then, we have 2x plus 7 equals 0. Adding the negative inverse of 7 to both sides of the equation. 2x plus 7 minus 7 equals 0. Minus 7, cancel. 2x is equal to negative 7. Dividing both sides by 2, our x is equal to negative 7 over 2. That is the first value of x. Next, we also have x minus 3 equals 0. Adding the negative inverse of negative 3. Then we have x minus 3 plus 3 equals 0 plus 3. Canceling this out, we have x equals 3. So the two values of x is 3 and negative 7 over 2. Example number 3, we have 4x equals the square root of 15x squared plus 5x plus 14. So in this example, in order for us to simplify the square root, we need to square both sides to negate square root. Then we have 4x squared, which is 16x squared, is equal to the square of the square root of 15x squared plus 5x plus 14. It will be just 15x squared plus 5x plus 14. Note that we just negated the square root by the power of 2. Then we simplify 16x squared equals 15x squared plus 5x plus 14. Writing it in standard form, we will have x squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. Next, factoring the trinomial, we will have x minus 7 times x plus 2 equals 0. Then equate each factor to 0. We will have x minus 7 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. Solving for the final value of x, we will have x equals 7 and x equals negative 2. Therefore, the values of our roots will be 7 and negative 2. So another example is square root of x squared plus 5x plus 3 is equal to 3x. The first step is to negate the square root sign. So we are just going to square both sides and the square root will be cancelled. We will just have x squared plus 5x plus 3 is equal to the square of 3x, which is 3 times 3, 9, x times x, x squared. And adding the additive inverse of the terms on the right side to be able to equate it to 0. And so we will have x squared plus 5x plus 3 minus 9x squared is equal to 9x squared minus 9x squared. Diba? Inad lang natin yung additive inverse nung nasa right. Cancel this out. This will become 0. Then, negative 9x squared plus x squared, we have negative 8x squared plus 5x plus 3. Diba bawal tayo magkaroon ng negative na first term? So, we need to multiply this by negative 1. And so we will have 8x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals 0. Then ano ba yung factor ng negative 3? Diba 3 at 1 lang naman. Pero alin doon yung kailangang i-multiply sa 8 para kapag pinag-add natin sila, yung negative 5 ang maging sum. So we have here 8x times x equals 0. So we need to think of the factors for negative 3 na yung isa kapag minultiply sa 8 at inad sa natitirang factor, dapat negative 5 yung maging sum nila. Imumultiply ba natin yung 3 sa 8? 24 na agad yon, so hindi na siya pwedeng maging partner. Definitely, it's 1. Ano ba yung dapat maging sign ng 1 na i-multiply sa 8 na kapag dinagdagan mo ng 3, dapat negative 5 yung magiging sagot or yung sum. So, let's try 1 times 8. 8 plus 3, 11. Kapag naman negative yung 1, so 8 times negative 1 is negative 8 plus 3, that's negative 5. Meaning, dapat yung 1 yung maging negative at i-multiply sa 8, then yung 3 should be positive para siya yung mai-add na 3. Then, equate the factors to 0. Yun na yung final step natin. So, 8x plus 3 equals 0. Adding the additive inverse of 3, which is 8x plus 3 minus 3 equals 0 minus 3. Cancel this out. 8x is equal to negative 3. Dividing both sides by 8, cancel. X is equal to negative 3 over 8. Then finding the value of the other root, x minus 1 equals 0. Adding the additive inverse of negative 1, x minus 1 plus 1 equals 0 plus 1. Canceling 1 and negative 1, x is equal to 1 as the value of our second root. And for our last example, we have here a reducible polynomial expression, x raised to 4 minus 9x squared plus 20 equals 0. For us to solve this, we need to replace x squared by u. After replacing x squared by u, we will come up with u squared minus 9u plus 20 equals 0. We factor out this new generated quadratic equation in terms of u. We have u minus 5 times u minus 4 equals 0. After equating them to 0, we can simply solve u minus 5 equals 0 as u equals 5 and u minus 4 equals 0 is u equals 4. But we are not solving the equation in terms of u, but we need to solve it in terms of x. So now we must bring back x squared. So substitute u by x squared, and that is x squared equals 5 and x squared equals 4. Solve for the value of x by extracting the square root. So we have x equals, the square root of 5 is positive negative square root of 5, and x squared equals 4. The square root of 4 is positive negative 2. So the answers are positive negative square root of 5 and positive negative 2. To answer similar example with regards to the previous one, we have here x raised to 4 minus 7x squared plus 12 equals 0. So first, we need to change the value of our x squared, then treat it as u to solve the quadratic equation. X squared should be u. Then we have x squared squared, diba? Minus 7x squared plus 12 equals 0. Lahat daw ng x squared natin ay magiging u. So, u squared minus 7u plus 12 equals 0. Solving the value of the zeros in terms of u, we have u minus 4 and u minus 3 upon factoring the trinomial. Then, equating it to 0, we have u minus 4 equals 0 and u minus 3 equals 0. U minus 4 plus 4 equals 0 plus 4 will give us the answer of u equals 4. Here we have u minus 3 plus 3 equals 0 plus 3. Cancel this out. U is equal to 3. We are not yet done because we are not trying to solve the equation in terms of u, but instead of x. So we have here u is equal to 4, but u should become x squared. Tama? Then it should be x squared equals 4. Getting the square root of both terms, we have x is equal to positive negative 2. We have u is equal to 3, then x squared is equal to 3. Getting the square root of both sides, we will end up with x is equal to positive negative square root of 3. There you have it. As much as I can, I have presented you different transformable equation that can be solved using quadratic equation. So sana na-familiarize ninyo ang iba't ibang forms at you familiarize yourselves with the different processes para kapag sinalangan kayo ng iba't ibang types of equation which can be solved using quadratic equations, ay kayang-kaya nyo na rin siyang sagutin. To give you more practice, please try this. And to counter-check your work, here are the answers. Ayan, so sana na-enjoy nyo yung lesson natin for today. I know it might be quite challenging for you today, pero nadadaan yan sa practice. The key to mathematics is by doing it. We learn by practicing more. So yun lang. See you sa susunod na episode ng ating math tutorials. This is Sir Marki. See you guys next time. Bye!